Hey everyone, it's Steven from Toastamac. Sorry for the delay on this stream. There were some last minute things I had to do today. I'll tell you a little about that before we get started. It'll give us some time for some viewers to come in. I know it's a little later than usual. We'll still go the usual 30 minutes or so. So we'll give a few minutes. I'll give you an update on things, and then we'll get started on the topic I want to talk about today, because I feel like this is kind of worth having this live stream and having the discussion. Okay. So, starting with the update on the Mediterranean diet. The weight loss has slowed down a little bit. The lowest I weighed was 214, which is good considering I started around like 225, 227. So far I lost around 11 to 13 pounds. Now I'm at the point where, oh, hey Sharon Starkey, how's it going? So now I'm at the point where I need to implement exercise routines. I want to make kind of a daily routine. So I've looked into how to do planking, because that actually works out the majority of the muscles in your body. Also push-ups, jumping jacks. I'm not sure about sit-ups though, because I don't want to trigger the muscle spasm again. Maybe I'll be able to do it at some point. And then also some walking like after work, assuming that it's not too hot outside. But I think we're getting to the point of the year where things are starting to cool down. So hopefully I'll be able to incorporate those walks again, because that's also going to help. Drinking plenty of water, do the exercises. Because I got the diet thing figured out. Now I need to incorporate the exercise in order to keep the pace of the weight loss. That way it's not like you lose 1 pound in 1 week or gain another in another week. So that way I can keep the weight loss rate going in the direction that I need it to. So there's that. There's also the update of stuff I'm working on the month of September. I haven't done the book narration stuff yet. I plan to do it this weekend because I wanted to do it today, but there was just some last minute things that came up. Like I needed to do some cleaning in the downstairs area, which is right next door. I also need to clean my bathroom, because Lord knows it really needed it. Like, you did not want to see that. Did a little bit of cleaning around the house too, as you can see right here. We got the Takanuva from that build stream earlier. So there was some cleaning that had to be done. And also, I put in a couple of voice acting submissions, because I told you I was going to do that throughout the month. It was like a last minute posting on the Star Fox Event Horizon Discord group I'm in. And turns out the person who posted there wanted to give us first dibs on it before releasing it to the public. So, hey, that was awesome. And if I do get a part, I get some money for it. And I don't think this is a fan-based parody this time. Maybe it's like an indie game. It's kind of similar to one game, but I don't think it counts enough as IP robbery. So, who knows? Maybe I'll be able to use this in a voice acting portfolio, assuming I get the parts. I put in 2 submissions because there aren't that many openings, or not that many characters in there yet. So it's still starting out. So I put in a couple submissions. They were definitely a little different than what I usually did. One of them was a deeper voice than I usually do, like a deeper voice, which is challenging for when you do like the shouts and like the and stuff like that. You have to be able to do it, but at the same time keep that deep voice, because the first time I tried it, I knew it was way off, so I had to record it again. The second one was I had to make random animal noises, which is something I've never done before for a voice acting submission, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So I am still getting some stuff done, just not as much as I would have liked this week. So next week, I'm going to focus on getting the rest of the narration voices done, and also, starting to get into the tutorials for Illustrator and After Effects, because I really need to start learning those. Alright, so that is enough for the update. Let's talk about today's subject. And I'm worried that this might be a sensitive one, so I'm hoping to, keep this conversation as mature and professional as possible. So here's what this is about and why the stream title is how it is. a while back when I posted the brand new video about how to improve eye contact, or like why eye contact is important. It's been doing pretty good in terms of like viewership and likes. However, not everyone was, open to the video, for lack of a better word. There was a certain Facebook group that I'm in, and I'm not going to mention which one, that I got a rather interesting comment from. And the comment of the user said, "Stop encouraging ableism." Now, this is the first time I've ever heard of that term before, let alone someone tell me that I was doing it. So I got a little curious and looked up the definition, and turns out it's a pretty serious one. Ableism is defined as discrimination in favor of able-bodied people. And some examples of this include denying someone a job because they're disabled, like one person's able to walk or another person's on a wheelchair, or like making jokes about a person's physical or mental disability, accusing a person with a mental or learning disability of faking it, or designing office spaces in ways that are inaccessible to people with disabilities. This is just a few of the examples, but the idea of it all is it favors those who are able to rather than those who are not able to. Like maybe they would favor someone who can actually look at things and focus on stuff rather than someone who can't. Or maybe they would focus on someone who's like able to walk and run around, whereas someone who is in a wheelchair. So this was pretty alarming for me, and like regardless on whether or not this user actually hold on. Stern Starkey says, "Wow, can't believe you never heard of that word before. Always good to..." Yeah, like, this was literally the first time I've ever heard of that word, which is shocking to me, too, because I've been doing, like, autism videos for about 7+ years now, and this is, like, the first time I've heard of that word, ableism. And, it was really shocking to hear about it, and to hear that maybe I was potentially encouraging it. So whether or not this user had watched my video or not, it was still something important that needed to be addressed. Now, usually when I respond to Facebook comments like this, it goes one of two ways. Either it is a professional conversation, or it's just someone just being toxic and not listening. So I always try to give people like one chance to see where it goes. So I responded, "Could you explain how this is an example of ableism? My intent has always been to educate, not to discriminate. So if you could explain this to me, I could be more mindful in the future." So the person responds, "I'm kind of surprised you'd promote teaching eye contact at an autism page when the majority of the community has advocated for acceptance, and research has demonstrated that we can listen and learn very effectively without it. That I understand. And research has reported it to be painful, emotionally intense, and overwhelming." So, yeah, this is actually a professional conversation, which I really like because we could talk things out, and as you may have seen, I've actually learned something new from it. So I responded, "I can understand that. It was not my intention to make eye contact mandatory, only to provide information to those who are interested. I will do my best to be more mindful in the future. Would you mind giving me some examples of ableism so I can avoid making the same mistake? Also, would you want me to do more research on this and perhaps do a video about what ableism is? I don't want to appear, as they say, tone deaf. I really want to help people with the future content I make." Which is true. My content is made to help people, not to discriminate. Like, I do not support ableism. I didn't know about ableism until recently. And, like, looking at, a couple topics I've covered, like with the eye contact and a couple ones a while back, I wonder, like, maybe some of the stuff could be seen as ableism, but usually when I give a how-to video, like how to improve focus, or like the recent one, how to improve eye contact, I usually try to put in there put in a statement that says, if you are willing to learn and not being forced into it, or like the individual in question has to be willing to learn. You can't just, force them into something they don't like. So I always try to add a little thing like that, because for me, I believe that my role as a content creator is to give advice and provide information the best way I can. That doesn't mean that the content in my videos are absolutely mandatory, like you absolutely must know this or you absolutely must know that. I don't try to encourage that, because even though I had grown up, or raised and disciplined myself to meet expectations within society, that's my path. That doesn't have to be your path, or it doesn't have to be other people's path. As they say, to each their own. So if you watch my content, enjoy what you see, and you gain something from it, awesome, fantastic. I know that I've done my work. But if you don't think that topic's for you, won't hurt my feelings. Sharon Starkey says, it's very controversial, and it depends a lot of times on how the person chooses to interpret it. Yeah, that's what kind of worried me about, that Facebook comment in the first place. Because, I usually do my best to make sure to let people know that I'm only giving advice. That is not mandatory. It's not like, if you don't watch my videos, you're going to fail. No, that's not going to happen. If you want to take the advice, sure. If not, that's fine too. You do you. So, I know that some people would think that, oh, it's just one person saying it. Don't worry too much about it. Or, odds are this person didn't actually watch the video. It's nothing to worry about. Well, for this kind of situation, it is. Because, my idea is, it's kind of like when I edit my videos, before they get released to the public. My rule of thumb for video editing stuff is, if you're able to notice it, that means other people are able to notice it. So it's similar to this case. If one person is saying that this could be a potential example of ableism, then what concerns me is that other people might see it the same way. And there was another comment from this same Facebook group that said, nah, I would prefer it if you just accept us for who we are. And hey, I'm all for that. So it's at times like these, you actually do need to pay attention to, what some people are saying. Even if it's criticism towards your work, or maybe it's they don't like your content, that's fine. As a content creator or any artist, you have to be willing to accept criticism, listen to what people are saying, so long as they're being professional and not toxic, and, see what you can learn from it. See what it is you can change in the future. Now, getting back to this conversation, in terms of, when I asked them, what are some more examples? Do you want me to make a video about ableism? The person responds, I think my wanted to address this, as it's often connected to masking, which, that's a whole nother topic, which has tragic outcomes. Currently, I'm only here infrequently due to other priorities, so you do you. This one was just one that I had time to address. You do what you feel you should. So, yeah, I am perfectly okay with that. So it sounds like this user doesn't really appear in the group too often. So whether or not this person watched the video, I still have to, listen to what they had to say and, figure out, was I supporting ableism, or maybe it's just another person's interpretation, as Miss Sharon Starkey said. So yeah, it was definitely, I felt like it was something that definitely needed to be addressed. So I ended it with, I see. In any case, I do appreciate you taking the time to explain this to me. Thank you. So that's where basically that conversation ended. So So what I've been thinking about now is like, back to what I said earlier, if one person was able to, see it as, oh, she writes, I don't see that as ableism with you since you are on the spectrum. If I had made the video, it would have been ableism. I'm not too sure. Like, I kind of see where you're getting at, but like with me, I'm high functioning autism and as you mentioned, autism is a spectrum, whether I want to admit it or not. Like, think there's got to be a different I think there's got to be a different word for like the autism diagnosis rather than spectrum, because like, I actually made a video on it a while back where it's like I don't like the idea of like high functioning or low functioning, or like how low functioning is like interpreted as, oh, they're gonna need a lot of help or they might not succeed. I don't really like that idea, but until another term comes, I guess we have to use it. The problem is, not only do I have high functioning autism, so I don't really struggle as much as maybe someone else, but it's like there are a lot of things that I do, that I've been trained to do and raised to do because that is what society expects. So my worry is that, like, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to address this in future videos, like more like how-to videos. Oh. But you are autistic and educating. I am not. Okay. I can see that. I can understand that. So what I'm gonna have to do in the future, specifically with like how-to videos, like how to improve focus or how to improve this executive function, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to put in there like, remember, this is just advice and information. Use it as you see fit. But like, I don't want it to sound repetitive. Like, I don't want it to sound like a copy and paste statement on every single video going forward. So I'll just have to find a way to put it in the script and then be sure to mention it during the recording process. Now, what I do want to do, maybe in October, is do a separate autism video about, describing what ableism is and like why it could be harmful to the autistic community, and explain my personal stance on the matter. Because like, I want to stream this right now because I want to have a conversation with you, the audience, about like, what you think what ableism is, because I'm kind of going in uncharted territory right now. I'm gonna have to do a bit more research on this matter for when the time comes when I want to do the ableism video, that I am able to explain it the best way I can and let people know that I do not support ableism, that I'm only doing this to provide information and give advice. Nothing more, nothing less. So, and I'm not exactly, I don't think I would be a good example of ableism now that I think about it, because there are some things that I still struggle with. Like, even though I made that eye contact video, I still struggle with that sometimes. Like, looking around the face is fine, but it's like when, how do I describe this? When I have to focus on like another person's eyeballs, I definitely feel like a little escalation in like anxiety, and I think that probably has to do with the workplace I'm at. Hey, Commentillies, it's been a while. How have you been? Good to see you here. So, actually, you came in at a rather interesting live stream we're doing. So, so what was I saying? Ah, yes, eye contact. So, with me, with eye contact, it's like I may look at someone's face for like a few seconds, then my eyes may kind of wander from like one place to another. It's like, I don't want to give people the wrong idea about like, I don't want people to think that if I'm staring at them or like looking at their face or their eyes for too long, then it might send the wrong message. I don't want to do that. And I know that there are some places where it kind of emphasizes on eye contact, so I still struggle with it. Glad to catch the stream. Yeah, glad to have you here. So, commentillies, just to catch you up. We stopped streaming, or I stopped streaming on Twitch, and we now stream on just YouTube. So, we do these Friday streams at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so that's how it's going to be. And instead of like the gaming live streams that I used to do, we do streams like these where it's like I have a conversation with the audience. So we do this on Fridays, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'm glad to have you here. Now, I am planning a couple of special streams later on, which one of them I will announce later this month, and I've got at least one more special stream planned before the end of the year. Yeah, I'll watch wherever you are. Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, glad to have you here. And, getting back to the subject of, like, ableism, because, to catch commentaries up, someone on Facebook said a comment, like, stop encouraging ableism. So I did some research, because I never heard of ableism before until recently. And thankfully, the user and I were able to have a professional conversation about it. And now I'm at a point where I need to think about, where to go from here. So, the other example of, like, me not being an example of me not exactly doing what society may expect is actually a pretty small one, but I think it's significant. Do you know, like, when you're on a computer and you have to, like, type things, usually a lot of people would expect you to be able to look at the computer screen and be able to type without looking at your fingers as you're typing in. That's what they kept trying to teach me in grade school, and that's also what a lot of, some computer games, like I think there was Jumpstart Typing, and there was also like Typing of the Dead, that kind of encourage you to be able to type on the keyboard without looking at your fingers, that you look at the screen. Actually, there's a funny example like the Typing of the Dead tutorial where it's like they teach you how to play the game. They're teaching you how to type, and there's an option that says, but I want to do it my way. And when you select that option, a zombie just walks up and just smacks you. It was harsh, but it was kind of funny. Like, but I don't want to do it your way. I want to do it my way. The zombie just smacks you. But, that's just a video game, it's not meant to be taken too seriously. But it's like, it's kind of this unspoken rule or unspoken expectation that you're able to type on the keyboard without looking at your fingers. Me, I can't do that. I seriously cannot do that. Like, maybe sometimes I'll look at the screen for like a split second or so, but most of the time you will find me typing on the keyboard while looking where my fingers are going, because I need to see what keys I'm hitting, because I can't just memorize it like the back of my hands, and I can't just do this like weird hand position we're doing where you extend the finger out this way or pull it back that way, or extend this finger that way or this way and this and this and that. Like, I just can't do that. Like, if I want to hit the keyboard, I'm just hovering my hands around what keyboards to type, and I do it in a way where I can actually see which keyboards I'm hitting. So I can't do that. Like, I can't look at the screen for a long time and not look where my fingers are going, because like I really need to make sure I'm not hitting the wrong keys, So hopefully that makes sense. So like, yeah, those are basically a couple examples of me, not being perfect and not, supporting ableism. So yeah, what I'm going to have to do from this point onward, and, Commentilli, since you just arrived, is, when I'm talking about certain autism subjects, I can approach it the way I usually do is, do as much research as you can, cross-reference to make sure that what you're saying is accurate, and then deliver that information to the audience in a way that suits the Toastamax expectations. That, I can make it a little bit entertaining, use visual supports to help out with that and stuff, and also, provide the closed captioning, which I've started this year. And I think a lot of people are appreciating, the fact that I added closed captions in case, someone can't hear, or if they just want to keep the volume off because they're in a certain place that, that really needs the quiet, So I think the closed captions is a good addition. So just keep going the way I've been doing, and, use visual tools to help out. But, with how-to videos, like how to stop headbanging, and also how to improve eye contact, stuff like that, videos I've already done. For how-to videos I want to do in the future, I'm gonna have to, figure out how to make a statement like, this is optional, this is not absolutely mandatory, it's not like if you don't follow this advice you will not be accepted by society. No, I don't want to give that idea. I just want to help provide information to, help improve people's lives, because I know that for a fact that the content I've made has helped quite a few people in the past, and I want to keep doing that. But at the same time, I don't want to, as I mentioned for this user, I don't want to appear as tone deaf. I want to be able to, keep up with the current trends, understand what the autistic community is asking for, for acceptance and inclusion and stuff like that. So I still want to go down that path. But it's I need to be mindful of how I make the title of the video. I need to be mindful on what I say in the script and stuff like that. Oh, Commentilli says, your videos are very informative, efficiently giving the right amount of information, and are captivating. I'm shocked the channel isn't growing faster. Well, I mean, there's only so much I could do. At this point, I'm posting on Facebook groups, making the hashtags on Instagram, and playing around with YouTube shorts and short videos on TikTok. Oh, that's another thing I need to do this month. I need to learn how to do a reel, because with the reels, I can do a short preview of an autism video I made in the past, to be go check out the YouTube channel to learn more. I really need to do that. So maybe that will help with the channel growth. But yeah, a lot of it's social media and, word of mouth. So if anyone's watching this, want to spread the word about the channel, that would really help out a lot. But, I'm always trying to do new things, to grow the channel and grow the audience as well, because I don't want people to think that I'm a one-trick pony. I like doing different kinds of content. It could be an autism video, could be a travel vlog, which YouTube Shorts are good for. And I'm planning a couple of special videos in October, including some baking videos and hopefully a Halloween skit. Says, I like you a lot. Your personality is very easy on the palate, and you don't let any bias or agenda take over your videos. Well, I try not to anyway. It's not I'm going to be pushing for this political agenda, or I'm going to be, putting some stuff for sponsors. No, that's not my place. I just, make content, to help people out at the end of the day, and make sure my content stands out from the rest. To give people a reason to watch my autism content in comparison to, to someone else's, give them an experience that they won't find anywhere else, and to make sure they have a good time without having to worry too much about political stuff or controversies and stuff like that. I just want people, to get something useful from my content, and overall have a good time. That's all I want. So hopefully this live stream really clears up, I 100% do not support ableism. Just want to make that clear. And then at some point, I am going to make an autism video about it. Because, like, this live stream really helps, it really helps in terms of, like, having a conversation with someone about it, have some insight on the matter. And after this stream, throughout the month, I'm going to do some research on my own, like, what is ableism? How is it harmful to the autistic community? And my stance on the matter, which, if you're watching the stream, you already know. So you'll probably expect that maybe October, because I don't want it to be like several months pass by and now we're talking about it again. No, I wanted, to stay as relevant as possible. Like, I'd rather do this after the autism video I made on the eye contact, to let people know that I do read the comments and, I do care about, what you're saying, or maybe if you're pointing something out, and I'm willing to learn, which is really the most important thing in any career, is that you are willing to learn and you're willing to improve. As long as you're showing that and making an effort, your audience will understand, at least that's what I like to think. So, yeah, it's getting to that point. We'll go ahead and start wrapping up. So, I really hope that you enjoyed this live stream. I know it's a little bit different than the ones that we usually do, where it's a little bit more lighthearted, like either building a bionicle or like, talking about the Mediterranean diet. I know it's a little different, but like, I feel like it's still important enough that it needs to be addressed, so to let people know that I'm listening and, I'm willing to learn. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching it, whether you're watching it live right now, or if you're just watching it on the, sorry, I had a mind blank for a minute. Whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the YouTube channel, later on. Sharon Starkey says, be sure to tag that person when you make the video. I think what I may do is see if I can message that user and, kind of poke their brains a little bit in terms of, like, what their thoughts are, and, like, to let them know, hey, I'm going to make a video about ableism and why it's bad, and I'm wondering if there's anything you'd like to add to it. So I want to have that conversation before I start doing that live stream. So, no, not the live stream. Before I make the autism video. That's what I meant to say. So I want to have a message conversation. I don't know how often that user is on Facebook, but, whenever I can, I'd like to have that chat and, kind of figure things out. I'm not going to live stream that conversation. I think that's more of a private matter, that it should just be between that user and me, because I don't want them feeling pressured or like anxiety, or it's like, oh, there's so many eyes on you. No, I don't want that. So I'll have that conversation with them, hopefully, and then make that video and go from there. So I really want to thank you all for watching the stream, whether you're watching it now or later. It really is important, and it means a lot that we're able to have these conversations without getting into like a full blown out argument. So it's really awesome that we can do that, and I really want to thank you all for it. So thank you very much for watching the stream. Be sure to like and subscribe to Toastamac if you like what you see, and click that bell icon to stay up to date in our latest videos. Next Friday, same time, 6 p.m., we'll have another live stream, and I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. Maybe I'll talk more about masking, because I mentioned a little bit of that in this stream. I think that might actually be a good topic for next week, because I'm not sure if I can make an autism video about that. And the short version is that, and we'll get to it next week, is that unfortunately there are times where I feel like I need a mask, and, it's not really something I enjoy. It's not really something that, I would recommend to other people. So, like, I'm not really sure whether or not I have a right to make a video about why masking is bad if I myself do it. So next week, next Friday, 6 p.m., I want to talk about that. I want to talk about masking and, like, what are your experiences on the matter and whether or not I actually have the right to talk about it, even though I tend to do it myself sometimes. So, that'll be the topic for next week. I think it'll be a good one. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good evening and the good weekend coming up. And until the next live stream, see you later. Oh, Sharon Stocking says, talk about how it makes you feel. Yeah, we'll do that next week, okay?